Welcome to This Explainer. Look, today we're diving into a massive, legally mandated opportunity that's just waiting for Kenyan entrepreneurs in government procurement. If you're a woman, a youth, or a person with a disability running a business, you have a huge advantage built literally right into the law. But, having a legal advantage and actually putting a signed contract in your pocket, those are two very different things. So we're going to bridge that gap today. Let's get right into it. To really grasp the scale of what we're talking about, just take a look at this staggering number. Over 1.16 trillion shillings. That is the amount set aside specifically for you every single year through Kenya's Access to Government Procurement Opportunities, or AGPO, program. That is a full 30% of all government contracts reserved exclusively for this demographic. It's an absolutely immense sum of money, and its whole purpose is to stimulate your business. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Navigating government systems to get to that money, it can feel incredibly daunting. So before we jump into the do-it-yourself playbook, let's talk about the ultimate cheat code if you're feeling overwhelmed by all the bureaucracy. Here it is. We handle everything: EGP registration, KRA and BRS validation, AGPO support, tender preparation, bid bonds, electronic submission, compliance audits, and even dispute resolution. Exactly. From registration to contract payment, we are your end-to-end EGP compliance partner. Seriously, don't lose government business because of system complexity. Call 0726-924-245 today, and let's secure your next tender the right way. Okay, now let's get into how you can navigate this system yourself. Here's our quick roadmap for today. We'll cover the trillion-shilling opportunity, how to fast-track your certification, smart bid prep, overcoming barriers, strategies that actually win, and finally, your long-term timeline. Section 1, the trillion-shilling opportunity. Mind the gap. We have to start by confronting a hard truth about this market. This brilliantly illustrates the gap. While 30% of government contracts are reserved, a tiny 16% of that value actually reaches women-owned businesses. Why? Because a crazy 80% of eligible businesses don't even have AGPO certification. They're literally leaving money on the table just because they haven't formalized their eligibility. Don't be part of that 80%. Section 2. Fast-track your AGPO certification legal thresholds. So the absolute most crucial first step is getting certified fast. Take a close look at these thresholds, because it's not just a simple form. For a women-owned business, women have to hold at least 70% of the shares and make up 100% of the leadership. Persons with disabilities need that same 70% ownership and leadership, plus a medical certificate. But listen to this. Pay special attention to the youth certification. It requires 70% ownership by folks aged 18 to 35. But that completely expires the second you turn 36. Meaning you have to proactively restructure your business before that birthday hits. And for all of these, make sure you get your BRS documents, KRA PIN, county permit, and a dedicated bank account ready before you even open the portal. Section 3. Smart 4-week bid preparation. Where to compete. All right, getting certified just gets you in the door. Next, you have to choose where to play. What's fascinating here is the clear contrast. Most newcomers just flood right into general supplies. And yeah, women hold 65% of the share there, but it is ultra competitive and almost totally price-driven. It's basically a race to the bottom. Instead, target specialized sectors like ICT and professional services. The women's share is only 25% there right now, but those higher barriers to entry naturally weed out the competition. You get much better margins if you're willing to put in the work. And to actually win in those specialized sectors, you need a strict 4-week prep cycle. Week 1, just analyze. Download the docs and confirm it's truly AGPO reserved. Week 2, assemble the heavy lifters, your CVs, statements, bid bonds. Then, week 3 is where the magic happens. Pour all your energy into writing the technical proposal, because that single document is usually 70% of your total score. Finally, week 4 is submission. Always submit at least 48 hours early to beat that inevitable last-minute portal crash. Section 4. Overcoming the 5 barriers insider hacks. Look, let's be totally real for a second. The system has its hurdles. Consider this your ultimate survival cheat sheet. Short on cash? Don't get stuck with bank bonds that charge 2 to 3%. Use insurance bonds instead. They usually cost a fraction of that, like 0.3 to 1%. Drowning in complex documents? Just download the PPRA standard docs, or honestly, if the tender is over 1 million shillings, it's worth hiring a consultant. Delayed payments? Never take a lump sum at the end. negotiate milestones, and keep a 6-month cash buffer. If you hit a wall of corruption, use the anonymous PPRA reporting channels and absolutely never take a private meeting. And to stay in the loop, join groups like the KNCCI County chapters. Section 5. Strategies that actually win, scaling up. Winning one tender is awesome, but winning repeatedly requires a real operational shift. Here's how the big players scale. First, they target niche stuff, like assistive devices. When a bid is too massive to handle alone, they strategically form consortiums, making sure to keep at least 30% participation in the joint venture. Their ultimate goal is to always deliver 48 hours early and totally exceed the specs. Because if you can hit an 80% performance rating, you actually unlock preferred supplier status. That means direct invitations for future work. But a quick warning here. Always keep a 15% profit margin to absorb payment delays and never let one government entity make up more than 40% of your revenue. Diversify your risk. You also have to advocate for yourself. By law, these entities have to report their AGPO compliance. If you're tracking the data and you see an entity reporting a 0% AGPO allocation for 2 quarters in a row, that is a massive red flag. You are legally empowered to file a formal complaint with the PPRA. Collective advocacy is a real game changer here. Section 6, your long-term success timeline. Let's bring this all together and map it out. Seriously, screenshot this timeline. Months 1 and 2 are all about getting your certifications set up. Months 3 through 6, you're cutting your teeth, bidding on 5 low-value tenders under $1,000,000 just to master the system. By month 7 to 12, you should be winning your first contract and delivering it at a 90+% rating. Moving into year 2, you start using those consortiums to scale up to massive 5 to 20 million shilling contracts. And by year 3, you're operating as a preferred supplier across multiple entities. That is your blueprint. Look, the 30% AGPO reservation isn't just some nice-sounding policy. It is a literal market creation mechanism designed to funnel over $1 trillion shillings to businesses just like yours. Yes, the bureaucracy is complex for sure, but it is entirely navigable. So, what's it going to be? Will you let the paperwork stop you, or will you use this playbook, or our compliance partnership, to step up and claim what is rightfully yours? The market is waiting. Go get it.